Welcome back to Cooking for Health. Joining us today is Dr. Jesse Barnes of First Choice with an educational message about reading nutrition labels.
Hi, I'm Jesse Barnes. I'm one of the family medicine doctors here at First Choice South Valley, and welcome to the provider talk this month for our Cooking for Health classes online. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel here so that you'll be notified when we make more videos in the future. And please check out all the other videos this month for excellent examples of recipes from our five-star chefs. So today's topic, or the topic this month, is about reading nutritional labels. This one's a little bit different from some of the other topics where we're focusing on one specific type of food, because being able to read nutritional labels is really important for being able to understand when you're buying food and eating food, what it is that you're eating and how it's going to affect your health. So we'll talk a little bit about the different information we're going to find on a nutritional label and how that relates to different health topics. So any food that you buy, for the most part, other than like fresh fruits and vegetables, is going to have a nutritional label that kind of looks like this on it. Now, the first thing that we want to check out is what's called the serving size, because this is a way that we can get tricked sometimes. If you buy a bottle of Coke or a bag of chips or something like that, you may look at this information and think, oh, it's not that bad, it doesn't have that much fat or that many calories. But you have to pay attention to how many serving sizes is in it, because if you're eating the entire bag, but it actually has 3 or 4 serving sizes, you have to multiply all these numbers by 3 or 4. All the other information on here is going to be per serving of that food. So we're going to look at what the serving size is. In this example, it's 1 cup. And how many servings are in that container. In this example, it's 4 servings per container. So if you're going to eat 1 serving, that's only a quarter of that container, or 1 cup. If you're going to eat the entire bag or the entire bottle, drink the entire bottle, then you need to multiply all these other numbers to get a sense of how much you're really having. The next thing you want to look at is the calories. And calories are just a basic measurement of how much energy is in the food. They're not necessarily good or bad, although if we're trying to watch our weight and trying to avoid problems like obesity, managing how many calories we eat is a really important way to do that. So again, we're going to see how many calories there are per serving, and we're going to consider how many servings of this food we're eating to know how many calories we're getting altogether. The next section on the label really breaks those calories and that food down into the different components, the different things that are in it. So that's stuff like fat, carbohydrates, proteins, the different things that make up our food. Fat is important, especially when we're thinking about our cholesterol levels, and therefore our risk of things like heart attacks and strokes are heavily impacted by that type of food. In general, in the United States of America, we eat too much fat and we eat too many trans fats and saturated fats. And there is a whole talk and a whole month where we focus just on this theme in fats. But for now, we want to know that when we're looking at these nutritional labels, we want to pay attention to how much fat is in the food we're eating, and particularly how much saturated fat or trans fat, as those are the ones that are the most linked to problems like heart attacks and strokes down the road. On the right side of these things is going to be a percentage, and that's how much in a day, or what percentage of our total daily value is in that serving of food. Now, with some of these things like fat, that's really a maximum number. We don't want to get to 100%, and we definitely don't want to go past 100% of our recommended daily intake of fat. It's okay to be less than that. Same with cholesterol, which is another type of fat. We want to try and stay under 100% when we add up all the foods we eat over the course of a day. The next section here are carbohydrates, and so these are all different types of grains and sugars. And these are a mix, because we know that fiber, as we talk about in some of our other provider talks, is really beneficial. It's good for our digestion, and it can actually help lower our cholesterol levels. So we want foods to have a lot of fiber in them, and we want to try and get to or past 100% of our daily recommended intake of fiber. However, our added sugars and our simple carbohydrates here are things that we want to try and stay under that daily limit and avoid, as that's going to increase our risk of problems like diabetes. Finally, there's protein, which again is somewhat neutral in the sense of we need some protein. It's a really important part of our nutrition. And so foods that have more protein and less sugar and less fat tend to be more beneficial. And on a lot of our recipes, you're going to hear ways to introduce more plant-based proteins into your diet because those have less sugar and less fat added in general. And then at the bottom of the nutritional label, we have some of the different nutrients and the amount of those in the food. So in this example, we have vitamin D, calcium, and potassium. This is another area where we want more of these things. These are good for our health, and so we want to try and get to or past 100% of our recommended daily intake. We don't want to go overboard. It's not good to get 200 or 300% of your vitamin D levels, for example, but we do want to get up to 100%, and we do want to be choosing foods that have been fortified with more of these important vitamins and minerals. So that's a brief review of how to look at and read a nutritional label. As you can see, there's a lot of information here, and this can help us when we're considering our sugar intake and our fat intake and how those things impact our risk of things like diabetes, obesity, heart attacks, and strokes. And so getting comfortable reading these labels can be a really important and valuable tool in our overall health and eating a healthy diet and living a healthy lifestyle. I hope you found this class helpful today. Please check out the videos from our chefs as they'll talk about how to apply this information as you're buying food and cooking food during their recipes. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can find out about more Cooking for Health videos in the future. Thanks.
Cooking for Health, a community cooking class brought to you by First Choice Community Healthcare, Agricultura Cooperative Network, La Cosecha, and other valued community partners. Thank you for watching. Tune in for the next fun and healthy recipe from Cooking for Health.